How do you feel about the God of War TV series starting with the Norse Saga? Because I kind of have mixed opinions. Because on one hand, I do get it. The Norse Saga is the one that got all the accolades for its amazing storytelling. And you can pretty much just jump into the Norse Saga and still keep up with what's going on. While it's better if you've played the Greek Saga beforehand so you have full context, I do think that wound up being the experience of a lot of new audience members when they first jumped into God of War. So I can understand why the people running this project might want to start with the Norse Saga, because that's probably the saga that interests them the most. But on the other hand, at least for me, the Greek Saga, being Kratos, back when he was a revenge monster with very few redeeming qualities, is what made the Norse Saga so much more impactful. Because we got to see Kratos in his dark days, back when he was merciless, bloodthirsty, and hot-headed. Seeing him when he's a much older, wiser man, who's more reserved and in a way earning his redemption, I think hits harder. I was a young teenager when I first got into playing God of War, and the revenge fantasy with the twings of angst and the over-the-top action was a blast, but seeing it be recontextualized by the Norse Saga made it even better in my opinion. I think being able to go back to the old God of War games with a knowledge of what happens in the later ones emphasizes how far he's come as a character, and also just recontextualizes a lot of those moments that at the time might have felt like just mindless violence, but now you know he's going to be ruminating and regretting it for the rest of his life. And also, there's just so many really cool things that happen that I think would be fun to see. So while on one hand, I get why from a writer's perspective they want to start off with the story that gave the franchise a reputation for amazing storytelling, but on the other hand, I really hope they're not going to wind up shying away from the Greek Saga altogether. I really hope they don't skimp out on showing us a first-hand look of what Kratos was getting up to back then. And while the older games might not have primarily been known for their storytelling, I still think there's a lot of really good material there that I would love to see a passionate team sink their teeth into. But in the interest of fairness, I do have to acknowledge that covering the Greek Saga is a bit difficult, because so much happens then that they would either have to rush through it and then it would be unsatisfying, or they would have to spend like 3 to 5 seasons on it before they can even start the Norse Saga, which is probably the saga that got them to want to adapt the game to begin with. So I'll withhold my judgment until I see it. I mean, the Fallout show was something I was skeptical of, and I wound up loving it. I would love if they at least gave us one episode of the season that completely takes place in the Greek Saga, because I think it deserves a chance to shine. Let me know what you think.